Once upon a time, there was a blind man who lived in a village. One day, he decided to go to the market to buy some groceries. He walked slowly with his white cane tapping on the ground to help him navigate the path. But after a while, he heard someone laughing at him. He stopped and asked, "Why are you laughing?" The person said, "You are carrying a lantern, but you can't see. Why do you need it?" The blind man replied, "So that people can see me and avoid bumping into me. It's so that they know I'm here and don't walk into me." The person understood and apologized for laughing at him. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. Please forgive me." And the blind man forgave him and continued on his way. Sometime later, when the blind man had almost reached the market, he heard someone else laughing. Again, he stopped and asked, "Why are you laughing?" The person said, "You are carrying a lamp, but you can't see. Why do you need it?" The blind man replied, "So that people can see me and avoid bumping into me. It's so that they know I'm here and don't walk into me." The person understood and apologized for laughing at him. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. Please forgive me." And the blind man forgave him and continued on his way. When he reached the market, he went inside and bought the groceries he needed. On his way back, he heard someone else laughing. Again, he stopped and asked, "Why are you laughing?" The person said, "You are carrying a lamp, but you can't see. Why do you need it?" The blind man replied, "So that people can see me and avoid bumping into me. It's so that they know I'm here and don't walk into me." The person understood and apologized for laughing at him. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. Please forgive me." And the blind man forgave him and continued on his way. Now, just like before, he kept walking until he saw a group of people gathered around, and he heard them laughing loudly. He stopped and asked, "Why are you laughing?" One of them said, "You are carrying a lantern, but you can't see. Why do you need it?" The blind man replied, "So that people can see me and avoid bumping into me. It's so that they know I'm here and don't walk into me." The person understood and apologized for laughing at him. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. Please forgive me." And the blind man forgave him and continued on his way. But then something unexpected happened. They all started to laugh even harder. The blind man was confused and asked, "Why are you laughing now?" One of them said, "You say you're carrying this lamp so that people don't bump into you, but if they laugh at you, then they must be doing it because they see you and know you're there. Right." The blind man thought for a moment and then realized that they were right. He had been explaining the same thing over and over again without realizing it. He felt embarrassed and asked them to please forgive him. They all agreed and said, "No problem. We all make mistakes sometimes." The blind man thanked them and continued on his way home. As he walked, he began to think about how important it is not to judge others too quickly. Just because someone does something that we don't understand or see no reason for, it doesn't mean we should laugh at them or assume the worst. He also realized that sometimes our own assumptions and biases can lead us to make mistakes, and it's important to be open-minded and understanding towards others. From that day on, whenever the blind man met someone new, he never assumed anything about them. Instead, he tried to understand their perspective and the reasons behind their actions. He knew that everyone has their own story, and that judging others without knowing them could lead to misunderstandings and hurt feelings. So he always made an effort to be kind and compassionate towards everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. And the people of the town began to notice this change in the blind man. They admired his wisdom and maturity and started to see him in a new light. He became a respected member of the community, and people no longer laughed at him or judged him for carrying a lantern. They understood that he had a reason for it, and they appreciated his strength and resilience. One day, the town was preparing for its annual festival, and the mayor asked the blind man if he would like to participate in the parade. He was honored and accepted the invitation. On the day of the festival, the blind man rode in the parade with his friends and neighbors. They cheered and celebrated, and the blind man felt a sense of belonging and happiness. As the parade continued, the blind man saw a group of children watching from the sidelines. They were curious and excited to see him pass by. As the children waved and shouted, "Hello, Mr. Blind Man," one of them asked, "Why do you carry a lamp? You can't see." The blind man smiled and replied, "It's not just a lamp, my dear child. It's a symbol of hope, courage, and strength. Even though I may not be able to see the darkness around me, I can still find my way through life with the help of those who believe in me and support me." The children were amazed by his words and realized that they should not judge or laugh at those who are different from them. Instead, they should be kind and accepting. The blind man continued on his way, feeling proud of himself and his community. He knew that he had come a long way since the day he first entered the town, and he was grateful for the acceptance and love he had received from the people around him. From that day forward, the children never laughed at the blind man again. They learned that it's important to be respectful and understanding towards people who are different from them. The blind man also became a role model for the entire town, showing them that even in the darkest of times, hope and strength can guide the way. So if you ever meet someone who seems different or struggles with challenges you can't imagine, remember the story of the blind man and the lamp. Don't just ask why, but try to understand their journey and the meaning behind their actions. You might learn something valuable about yourself and the world around you. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling lake, there lived an elderly farmer named John. John was a kind and hard-working man who had spent his entire life on his family's farm. He had weathered many storms and challenges, but his spirit remained unbroken. One day, a young boy from the village approached John and asked, "Why do you wear those silly-looking glasses? You look like an old fool wearing them." John was taken aback by the boy's disrespectful words, but he chose to remain calm. "These aren't just glasses, young man," he replied gently. "They are my window to the world. They help me see the beauty all around me." The boy didn't understand what John meant, so he persisted. "But you're already old. Why do you need to see more?" John sighed and said, "My boy, these glasses don't just help me see things, they also help me remember things. Each time I put them on, it's like my mind is filled with a warm glow, and I can recall wonderful memories from my past." Intrigued by John's words, the boy asked, "Can I see your memories, Mr. John?" John smiled and said, "Of course. Close your eyes and let me show you." The boy closed his eyes, and John placed his hands on the boy's shoulders. Suddenly, the boy found himself transported to a different time and place. He saw John as a young man, full of energy and laughter, working on his farm alongside other villagers. The boy also witnessed John's marriage to a beautiful woman and the birth of his children and grandchildren. As the boy looked at these happy memories, he realized that John's glasses were more than just a tool to see the world. They were a connection to a life well lived. Touched by what he had seen and heard, the boy apologized for his earlier words and asked John to teach him about his memories. John happily agreed, and over the next few days, he shared his stories with the boy, instilling in him the importance of cherishing each moment of life. The boy listened attentively, realizing that John's glasses were a metaphor for the power of reminiscence and the richness of experience. From that day forward, the boy treated John with respect and admiration. He understood that John's age was not a weakness, but a source of wisdom and insight. And he learned that everyone, regardless of their age, has something valuable to offer the world. As the years passed, the boy grew up and became a respected member of the village. He often thought back to the lessons he had learned from John and the importance of embracing the wisdom of the elderly. He realized that John's glasses had not only helped him see the world, but had also allowed him to carry the weight of his experiences with grace and dignity. In the twilight of his own life, the boy also began to appreciate the value of his memories. He realized that they were not just stories from the past, but threads that wove together the tapestry of his life. And he understood that it was through these memories, both good and bad, that he had become the person he was today. So if you ever meet an elderly person with a twinkle in their eye and a story to tell, take a moment to listen. For their experiences and wisdom have shaped them into the wise souls they are, and they may just teach you something about yourself and the world around you that you never knew before. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like button below to show your support, and stay tuned for more amazing content.